So this is my live stream about how to decentralize or decrease your dependence on social media. And it's part of, I'm doing a social media strike with Larry Sanger, the CIO of Everpedia and a co-founder of Wikipedia, and my friend Terrence Yang from Yang Ventures. We're all going on strike because a lot of the social networks aren't respecting free speech, the ideals of free speech. They're deplatforming people based on political opinions, and I think that's a really bad idea. And so does Larry, so does Terrence. And so Larry proposed a social media strike. I'm considering YouTube not to be part of traditional social media. Ultimately, I would like something that it doesn't have that kind of say as to what content goes on and what content goes off. But I'm going to use YouTube today for this. And I've got some interesting insights from what I believe is the benefit of doing something like this. I'm taking a strike 2 days. I'm not going on Twitter or Facebook, Instagram, Quora, any social media thing where there's a public-facing aspect. And the beautiful thing so far is that it has allowed me to have a shared mental space and emotional space with other people who are doing the same thing, which prevents me from checking them. If I force myself to do it, usually I just break those things, because these algorithms have gotten so strong and so aggressive, as one of my friends talked about recently, that there's no stopping them. Like they're inside of our heads. They're burrowed inside of our heads, worse than any sort of drug. I'm not doing heroin, but the same mechanisms that would, if I were addicted to heroin, if I needed that substance, is happening with social media. And I think it's worse. I think these things are worse than heroin in the sense that they can manipulate our chemical makeup better than many drugs. So what do we do? Had a lot of interesting conversations on my podcast. The one that's most informing this conversation is Nicholas Breisowitz from the Long Now Foundation, who has a strong understanding of the philosophical implications of technology. And what he said was basically that we have to establish a better relationship for ourselves as individuals and as a society as to what kind of relationship we want with technology. The relationship I want with social media in particular is one of learning. So I can learn from the smartest people, and I can not regurgitate, but channel that information to other people, put my own spin on it, and basically just serve as a platform for learning, which technology is very, very good at. So that's my main goal. How do I do that? Well, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram all have algorithms that don't serve that goal. That's not their goal. Their goal is to make me as engaged as possible on their platforms. It's not my goal. My goal is learning. So I don't like them. I don't like these platforms. They're trying to get me to do something that I don't want to do. They're trying to get me to share. They're getting me to spend as much time as possible, regardless of whether I'm learning or not, as much time as possible on these platforms. And then they're trying to find out my purchasing decisions. Nothing wrong with that, really. I don't mind if they make better recommendations for what to purchase. I haven't bought that much stuff. I've bought a few things on Instagram. But yeah, I don't really care about that. So what do I do? That's the cool thing about this social media strike, is now I'm banding together with other people, and we're promised not to use social media for 2 days, the 4th and the 5th. Happy Independence Day, by the way. And so it's giving me an idea. And the idea is that of social media retreats, organizing social media retreats with other people, and basically just have a social network, an anti-social network that is networked by old school technology communications means. Email, text, two things that are almost decentralized. They're not decentralized in the database. So actually, I don't know, is MMS decentralized? Email is all centralized under Gmail or whatever other server you use. So that's not necessarily decentralized. But they are decentralized in practice, in the sense that if I want to send an email to you, Gmail is not going to stop that email. I can just send it to you. So we get a network of people who agree to do a fast or a retreat off of social media for a week, a month, few days, maybe different groups within that are actually organized within themselves to find out, I agree to this long period of not using social media. Who else wants to join me? And they all agree. And then they all communicate. And then when we have gaps, when we have times when we're not using social media, we can communicate using text and email for exactly the reason of social media, which is to connect with other human beings. The platform itself has no place in that, no necessity for that. So how can we use these other technologies that have been around for a while, that Facebook doesn't have control over, that Twitter doesn't have control over, that Google has control over them? But how can we use these other platforms to communicate and build social relationships that don't have technology as a mediating force? I don't want fucking Facebook figuring out how to form my social life. That is bullshit. Like the things that they're showing up on the feed are based on their goals, not my goals of connecting with other human beings. So if you're interested in this, please subscribe to this channel. Find me, I guess, on Twitter at Stuart Alsop III. Here are some insights that I've learned. The other part of this video. Email so what I'm building is a newsletter with Substack, and I'm doing that in order to replace that same behavior that I had with Facebook and other things of posting my thoughts to other people. And Facebook gets in the way of that because they have their goals of making money, and they change what people see based on whether they believe that content will keep people in there longer or not, which is not a great motivation to have. So I use Substack now for those same thoughts. I'm creating ideas, and I want to find other people who resonate with those ideas, and so that I can have a conversation with them and I can become friends with them. And so I'm using my blog on Substack at stuartalsop.substack.com to do the same thing that I had for Facebook. And that's going to basically allow me to decrease my dependence on social media, on Facebook, for talking with my friends about certain things. And I suggest that you think about doing the same, creating some place that is off of these networks. So you've got email and you got text. That's another thing to think about. If you want to decentralize your dependence on social media, start to think about getting people's phone numbers and emails. I'm not talking about getting subscribers, marketing. I'm talking about your friends. Get your friends' phone numbers and emails. These are the two forms of communication we have right now that are the least centralized under a major social media platform. So get those two things and start thinking about communicating primarily through those channels. Start to tell people, hey, you know what? I really appreciate my relationship with you. Could we move this to another channel, text or email? Facebook Messenger has tried to make a play so that they can get that behavior and put it all through Facebook. They're making a pretty good play on that. But let's take it back. Let's bring it email and phone. So these are some insights that I've learned in realizing that the new state of social media and technology. If you're interested in this, check out the company called Siempo, Get Siempo. It's from a group of people who have seen the negative effects of technology in their own lives and they're technologists as well. People can build technology, so they're now trying to build technology to fight the negative influences of social media. So check out Get Siempo, and subscribe to this blog. Please reach out to me if you have any ideas, if you want to join on social media strikes, and let me know.